So beautiful day here in Southern California. Let's take a look at some of our questions that are popping in that we had gotten earlier. So when is the junior app being released, Andrew? So junior app, obviously this has been a discussion of ours for quite some time. And just so you guys know, the PGA of America, I sit on the player development committee of the PGA of America. And for many years now, they've been working on the long-term athletic development pathway or program that they're about to launch at this year's PGA show. A lot of the stuff that you've seen in level 2, level 3 classes is kind of built around our framework. We've assisted them in some things, and we've talked to them about being the deliverable, which is building the app. And that is something that we've kind of bounced around a little bit, banged our head a little bit with them, and they love it. We've gotten great support from them. We just haven't been able to push it across the line yet. They've had some changes recently with Susie Whaley becoming the new president of the PGA of America, and she's a great fan of ours. And also the new chairman, Seth War, is a very close friend of ours. So both of them I'm actually presenting to January 8th, 9th, and that will kind of give us the idea of the direction we go. We've got some other people that want to build the app with us, but if for some reason they don't want to do it, otherwise, we'll do it with them. Now, the reason we want to do it with them is it explodes the world. It's much bigger if we can do it with the backing of them than just doing it on our own. So that's kind of been the delay of the app. We have the plan. We know how to build it. There'll be a coach's app where you would test your students, and then there'll be a deliverable to the customer, to the student, kind of a gamification, and also for the parent to know what level the kids are at and how to help the kids without interfering, which we know is always a big deal with junior golf. So I can't say for now when the app's going to be built. I wish it was launching this year. I can say that we've done a lot of work behind the scenes so that if we get a green light to go, you'd probably be looking at, probably the fall would be the soonest. But these things can change depending on what happens. So that's where we are with the junior development app. Another question that's come in here from Chris. Chris, what are the key emotional and social factors for girls and boys wanting to reach the next level at their different ages? Well, that's a great question. And that question has a couple of different, things that we actually covered in level 3 recently. There are always these changes, especially for boys and girls emotionally. I think probably the biggest factor to get them to the next level is appropriate instruction and understanding where they are in their kind of growth spurt and also in their development as a person and a golfer. So, we talk about this in that you've always got the dreamer, the one that wants to be the next champion and wants to get a college scholarship or go on and be a professional. And I love dreamers. I love them. I think they should have big dreams. The problem with them is sometimes those dreams get shattered when they get to a level too quick before they're really ready. So it's very, very important that you build them up in the right way and that you make sure that the instruction is appropriate and then the testing is appropriate. If they're throwing out a little bit too much kind of above the pay grade, so to speak, all of a sudden those are the ones that tend to get kind of destroyed. And that can affect them mentally, emotionally, developmentally. They don't feel they're good enough. And that's the dreamer that thinks they're there, but they're really not there. Then you get kind of the victim. Then you get that one that they're the one that is always, they want to challenge themselves. They're the one that I want to play at the next level. I want to get there. And when they get there, they realize that their skill level doesn't really match where they're at. And when you get that one, all of a sudden, they start to look at themselves as, I'm not good enough, and so on, and it can affect their ability to perform and get to that next level as well. You get the ones that are cocky, the ones that, I can do it, I can do anything at any time. Unfortunately, those ones tend to put themselves out there in situations where they think they're good enough. They may very well be, but they get beaten down in like a higher level, a competition or event, and that can affect them emotionally and socially as well. So those are kind of 3 scenarios. The best one is you're always trying to create instruction at slightly above where they're at. So I look at performance, like going out and actually playing in a tournament, competing against other kids, or delivering an instruction that's just a little bit above their level so that they rise up to it. It challenges them enough, but not so much they start to feel bad about themselves. So you're always playing this game. And the only real way to say exactly where they're at is having that open communication. And I usually see that with my players when they start to ask questions that I'm like, wow, that was really a great question. That was right in your wheelhouse, not way above it, not way below it, but right, constantly that little bit of challenge. Push them just enough to get them going. And usually you create this nice balance between that, the emotional side. Obviously, the social factors, putting somebody out there in a competition when they're not mature enough to deliver it. So we even deal this with elite level players that first get to the tour. They don't even know how to handle their success in some cases. And then when you bring it down to the junior level, I was at a junior tournament recently here in town for 13 to 15-year-olds called the Toyota Cup. And I was just amazed because these kids have gotten it in their head that they're little tour players. And the temper tantrums, the time, the fact that they're taking so long to play. And yet there were a couple of kids that were really flourishing and enjoying it and moving and talking. And then the other ones that just looked like they were getting beaten down. And you saw every level at that event. I mean, it was taking 5.5 hours to play with threesomes, which was unbelievable. And something needs to be done about that. And that again, to me, I think there was too many players in the field that weren't at that level and that were just being beaten up by this golf course they were on. And it just imploded. And so, watching the events they play, looking and go out there and watch them. If you're playing with juniors or you're teaching juniors and you're not watching them play if they're competitive, you need to get out there and do that. So it's kind of a long way around that question, but hopefully that answers most of that. I got another one in here from Jeff. Jeff, running a junior program at Beth Page on Long Island. Can you discuss group rates, fees, 8 to 16 years old, 90-minute sessions that include fitness, golf pro, 45-minute fitness, 45 minutes on K-Vest, TrackMan, Body Track, Blast. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff going on. So, okay, so you can do these golf schools. I think golf schools should be kind of built slightly differently. So I'm going to give you my opinion on that. Today, we use a lot of technology. Kids love technology. They want technology, but they can be confused by it. Be careful how much you throw in a session. The first thing it needs to be, like any of these sessions, even from 8-year-old to 16-year-old, it needs to be age appropriate. So you need to know, can I put the 8-year-olds with the 10-year-olds or not? Because a 16-year-old generally doesn't want to be with those. So how do we do that? And then what's appropriate for their skill level? I'm going to get a 16-year-old that's AJGA ready, and I'm going to get a 16-year-old that's just entering the game. Can't really put them in the same golf school either. And they certainly don't know if they're at that beginning level. They don't need all the technology. So the way I look at it is I got participatory golfers that I'm just trying to get engaged in golf. That type of program's got to be fun. I don't think you need to worry too much about all the other aspects. Fitness in those programs, yeah, do it. Do some basic screening. Teach them some explosive moves, some primal movement patterns. Those are great for the participatory. Once we get to what I call the performance-based golfer, now you can bring in your technology. They're the ones that want to be measured. They want to be checked. They want to know that they're doing the right things and getting to the next level. So kind of take your golf programs into those two buckets. Is this participatory, where we're just trying to get them engaged in golf, where we can have fun and games and so on and so forth? Or is this performance-based, where they're already coming with a certain set of skills, and now we have to sit them down and really build it properly with K-Vest, maybe get some 3D data, TrackMan, look at their numbers, and then create performance programming through fitness that works on stability, if that's what's lacking, that works on their speed delivery. So that's where TrackMan, Body Track would come in. And then obviously the short game, and that's where somewhere like Blast or even Body Track, again, I would use in the short game situation. 45 minutes, I would build them more as, 90-minute session seems a little bit long in terms of using all that technology. So I would almost be testing day, where one of the sessions, it might be 90 minutes and you go through everything for my performance-based players, test them. And then the next session is, well, now we go to work and you build a plan. So the next 90-minute session, and then maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, once you've worked on things, we bring the technology section back in and we do it that way. Pricing, I like to do it, you're trying to sell a whole program. So I wouldn't look at it as individuals. Yeah, you're going to have people can drop in. but that might throw off the group. So then pricing, again, depending on area, depending on level of instructor, depending on what you've got, will depend on how much you can charge. So usually, if it's 6 to 10 kids, or, maybe Jeff, you can expand on how many kids are we talking? Are we talking a huge group, or are we talking, hey, these sessions are generally 4 to 6 to 8? And that's what I would look at, how long are these sessions? So, I like the EPD program. You just mentioned that 60 kids, we just 300 for a 10-week program. That's awesome. I mean, that's actually very good. I mean, for 10 weeks for $300, that's an awesome program. You have 60 kids in the program. You're going to be able to do all kinds of things. So I would start it off beginning of the season with testing day, and testing day might be not just one day. You might have it for the different levels of kids. That gives you an idea of what level they're at. And then you can filter them into, okay, you're going to come to this session, which is this time, these days. You're going to come to this session, which is this time, these days, and so on and so forth. So that's what I would do. I think you're on the right track. Obviously, you have an incredible facility there, and the area you in is an awesome area. In terms of price point, you're pretty inexpensive there at $300, but you got 60 kids, so you're making some good revenue for 10 weeks. That's a good deal. I think most kids in your area would love to sign up for that. I definitely don't think you're overcharging by any means. I think you could almost go a little bit higher in the New York area. You are at a public facility there, and you do have a lot of kids, but if it's broken out, maybe there's an option for a little bit of a extra fee. Maybe you do advanced screening, especially in your world, Jeff. Or maybe there's more of a technical aspect where you get kids that want to be tested, or the parents are like, okay, I want to make sure we're doing speed the right way. So maybe part of that program, you could have some breakout sessions where they could come to a specialty session. We're doing distance control wedges, and we've got, local wedge rep here. So we're going to check the kids' clubs and so on and so forth. So I could see you adding a few programs that would maybe give you a little bit of an upcharge as well. So anything else, guys? We got rid of those questions there. Any other questions, feel free to fire away at me here. I think I might have another one coming in here. Let me just check on that one. Okay, so we don't have any there. So again, let me kind of share with you a couple of things that we're doing. Obviously, we got the golf show coming up here recently. And on the junior aspect, so what am I seeing in terms of trends? There's this huge trend nowadays, and it's not going to get easier for us in power. So you've got Cameron Champ coming out on the tour, a young player that's clocking 190 mile an hour speed. I had a kid here this morning at 192. There's another kid I'm teaching at 187. These are ball speeds. Their club head speeds are well above 125, closing on 130 miles an hour. So this world is changing, and that's going to change the way we look at kids, because unfortunately, 10 years from now, 172, 171 is not going to be PGA Tour average. It's going to be closer to 177, 178, maybe in the 180s. And a lot of that is because of a couple of things. First of all, the training is getting better. You guys are better at what you do. Kids in high school are getting what 5 or 6 years old they were getting in college. Now high school teams are starting to get TPI certified guys evaluating them. Fitness programs that are specific to them. Kids are really trying to prepare better. This is a game now that is changing rapidly. Everybody thinks that technology is ruining the game, but let's face it, technology has a box. There's only certain things that you're allowed to do with a driver, and everybody's on the limit. Technology is not changing. What's changing is we interpret TrackMan numbers better. The teams are better. So what's happening now is, from the fitness to the medical to the understanding of juniors and their growth and how to develop them at the right age is changing. And we're starting to see the first kind of flourishing of that, where we're getting kids showing up that are well above, 180 speed, which was unheard of. So now all of a sudden that is going to change the way we look at juniors. And my fear is parents are going to be driven for these performance programs, but they're going to have kids doing things they shouldn't be doing before their growth plates. And just like in Little League, where we're seeing Tommy John surgery in 12, 13-year-olds that we never saw. I'm worried that we're going to see fractures and problems in kids because of overtraining and speed training when it's not appropriate. So the only thing I would say is this, is you guys are the guys that they're going to be searching out, because we need to promote this in terms of junior development and making sure that parents know that you exist and that you understand these training parameters, these training windows, and how to build them effectively. Coaches need to be more aware of that. So my job, and the reason I'm here today, is as a golf instructor, I feel like, a lot of the times we build these programs, we're forced to do it at country clubs, not forced to do it, we want to do it, but they're junior programs. But now we're at the stage where we as golf pros don't know enough about the human body at that age and the growth spurts. And that's why building a team, almost like building this junior performance team where they understand kids, getting a physician on your staff that understands growth and development, getting an orthopedic guy that understands injuries in kids could be huge in the coming years. So I really think that you've got a great opportunity as we get further down this line. I think you're going to see more and more injuries. The modern day golf swing is not designed to stop injury. Unfortunately, locking the lower body down and twisting against it puts a tremendous amount of stress on the body. And we know that. So we need to be even better prepared. And that's where I'm excited about juniors, the junior program really becoming the program that we always envisioned it to be. And that is getting it backed by PGA Tour, PGA of America. And our big push for 2019 is to get that done. Because if we get that done, we can change the world and develop kids the right way, which would be really cool. Jeff, you got another question there. Any comments on implementing a medical program in junior programs? 60% of our kids that have inherited came to us with injuries already. Wow, that's a great question. So medical program for kids, I just think it goes in line with testing, Jeff. And I think that what we should be doing is part of that junior testing should be looking at their primal movement patterns. So not just testing them for power, but watching them move. I mean, it's incredible how many kids don't even know how to run today. And that right there, you just watch the way the knees are caving in, the ankles are flipping out, and there's already hip problems. So it gets back to education, right? We really need to educate country clubs, golf pros that are doing junior programs, that we have experts out there like yourself that really know how to do this. And, that we've got, maybe a group of medical people in your area, get 3 or 4 TPI certified guys that are from the medical in different modalities, and utilize them to build this one and all program to help our kids be safe at golf facilities and at junior performance programs. So I think there's a great opportunity there. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts. You're one of those guys that's out there doing a lot of incredible stuff. And, again, I apologize about, I might not be able to make that event that you're having there in Beth Page. I know Greg's looking at his calendar. Just scheduling is tough for us. I know it's the week of the PGA. That brings a whole other world to it as well with what our time commands are. And I'm coming from China trying to get there. So not out for sure, but if I can make it for you, I will. So that's about it. Any other questions? I'm going to give you kind of a hard count, like about a minute. I'll just hang out here and chat. And if anybody wants to post anything up, please feel free to do that. Let's see. So Colin's going, what is the best way to have amateurs assisting in the program? That's awesome, Colin. So I always think, amateurs being parents, whatever, you don't have to be an expert to give feedback. They just need to know what you want me to look for. So a lot of times when you're working with a program, if there's a parent around, we've always been down this track of, we don't want the parents there. Well, guess what? As a parent, if you're paying for something, you want to be there. You want to watch your son, your daughter. It's fun for you if you're a golfer. They're not going away. So it's really important you figure out a way to get them actively involved. But the only way to do it without them overstepping their boundaries is you set the boundaries. And that is, can you do this for me? So all my parents that come, with their kids, I'm very good at sitting down and going, listen, we've got a great program. We've evaluated your son or daughter. I think I know exactly what we're going to do, and I'm going to lay it out for you. Here's how I need your help to get this done. and you tell them what you want them to do. When you go to a tournament, could you take their stats for me? Could you just tell me how many fairways do they miss left or miss right? Because you know they're going to be walking around, right? And you kind of give them guidelines. When they're at a clinic, can I get them to be, hey, can you be my watch for this? Or get them to do this. And that's so important. They just want to feel like they're a valued part. And having the parents sit in the back on their phones, just reading a book or something, I don't like that. I want to get them involved. And I think it's important. So if we can do that, you'll be well on your way to getting a very good program. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you be. Thanks for participating. Anytime we do these things, any feedback you can give us is awesome always. Any questions ahead of time that you want to send in, feel free to do that. Hopefully, we'll see some of you at the PGA Golf Show. We'll be down there. There's the Teaching and Coaching Conference going on there as well. So the PGA's Teaching and Coaching Conference. If you're not a PGA Golf Pro, but you want to get a pass to attend, let us know. We can probably put you down under TPI, and we'll try and get you a pass to attend the Teaching and Coaching Conference. Again, always love your feedback. Thanks, Jeff. And we'll continue doing these. Let us know how we can help you any way we can. That's what we're here for. Thanks a lot. Have a great holiday. Merry Christmas to you all, and happy holidays. And I hope you have a great, healthy, and happy holiday season and New Year. And we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye for now.